Dead base or dead bass. Dead bass? Dead base. I mean, floppy bass dead, or a base that you can't plug in anymore, I guess. Houston, your thoughts on the White House's plan to colonize the moon? Um, Colonizing the moon is a necessity. We need the minerals on the moon to basically power our civilization for the next 10,000 years. So we're going to do it. We have to do it before the Chinese do it, because if the Chinese get up there, they will control all the energy resources for the next 10,000 years. So, in a competitive sense, the United States needs to get their asses over there, start scouring the surface and collecting all the helium-3 they can. We can actually dominate the rare earths market with the dust on the moon. We don't need to be dependent upon China for that anymore either. But if China gets there first, it starts exploding it first and getting all that material to market first, they will have so much money and power that they might physically be able to keep anyone else from participating. So that's why you got to get there. There's enough helium-3 on the moon to give all 8 billion people on Earth the energy consumption of the average American. Now, right now, America is 4% of the global population, and we are 25% of all the energy used. So now extrapolate that for the other 96% of the population, give them the energy consumption that we Americans have, and we would run out of resources on Earth like that. Which is another reason why we'd like keep everybody down. You cannot be first world and developed like us, because we can't afford to have you jack up the price of everything and use up all the materials. But there's enough helium-3 on the moon that you could easily power every electrical grid with just copious amounts of energy and not care if you waste it or whatever. Who cares? There's plenty more helium-3 where that came from. And we can do that for the next 10,000 years. We can make all 8 billion people on Earth have all their computers and lights on and televisions running, the oven just the door open and cranked to broil. Doesn't matter. So, and it's clean and efficient and doesn't pollute. It doesn't create CO2. So it would immediately just end the need to have any fuels of any kind on Earth that are combustible. We wouldn't need natural gas. We wouldn't need propane. We wouldn't need oil. We wouldn't need gasoline. We wouldn't need any of those things. So, yeah, we need to get our asses on the moon. We should have got on the moon 40 years ago, starting to exploit this stuff. But we spent too much money on Vietnam and, the shuttle program. And so colonizing the moon was out. But we're now in a competition for our lives, essentially. And we need to make sure that we are there, the ones that exploit it all. Dame, thank you for the super chat there. Where's Baldo? Omega lol. World trying to colonize on the moon, but we have people here on Earth that don't know how they will get their next meal. Truth. That's true. But if you can get everybody energy cheap, safe, and without changing your atmosphere, you're going to help everyone in the long run. Now, the drawbacks are we could create financial dynasties that we'll never be able to overcome. We definitely need to create a new outer space treaty and get everyone to sign on to that thing, because it's going to be exploited in ways that are just awful. Anthony Wilson, which is more valuable, helium-3 or solar panels that are 99.99% efficient, can retain energy long term? Helium-3, because you'll never get a solar panel that's above like 65% efficiency. Just the nature of the materials we have to use to do that. Because there's energy that gets lost in heat and reflection, all sorts of stuff. But helium-3, you can take with you, and you can power all sorts of stuff with it. Now, I think long-term, non-corruptible batteries that can store way more energy than current battery technology is more important than even super efficient solar panels. No Revolution 105. Where my FTX little Bahama mama's house? Age. The wife is getting suspicious. You want to have a nice place, the Bahamas? You gotta steal your client's money. That's the only scam I know of about how to get a Bahama house. Steal other people's money and then pay off the police in the Bahamas so that, when you get busted for it, they go, he's okay. So crime pays as long as you pay the people to bust you for crimes. Like if Bernie Madoff had just been like blackmailing a bunch of FBI agents, he probably would be out. Wouldn't have died in prison. Lunar Swine. Houston, could mining the moon potentially affect tides on Earth? How much money are we talking? Sorry, I'm behind the stream. I'll catch the answer later. No. It is a system between two bodies. The math is basically they're two masses added together. So if you're taking mass from this one, putting it over here, it's not going to matter. Plus, the amount of mass that's going to be taken is negligible. Like right now, the Earth has something like 2,000 tons of dust a day come from outer space and come through our atmosphere and add to the mass of the Earth, and it does not affect the tidal forces between the two of them. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be scraping the surface of the moon, the dust, the light fluffy dust, and shaking it vigorously, passing some electrical charges through it to free the isotopes of helium-3 from it. And then we're going to take that helium-3 and we're going to bring it back to Earth and we're going to throw the rest of the dust back down on the moon. So like, I don't know, 0.001% of the dust will be removed and taken to Earth to be turned into helium-3 fuel. So it's not really going to affect the relationship between the two of them. What affects them more is actually the tidal forces of the Earth's ocean. It ends up slingshotting the moon faster and faster as it goes around, causing the moon to drift away from us further every year. That's the big thing you got to watch out for. Is eventually the moon will kind of get out to a position where it's so far away there won't be much tide happening for either of them. And the tidal areas will wither. The barnacles will no longer be exposed at low tide. That's probably, some billions of years away. It drifts about 2.5 centimeters a year. That's how far the moon drifts from us.